In 2019, the Ram 1500 got a major facelift front to back with 3 different headlight options, but for some reason, only the top tier projector LED headlight option was any good. If you have the Reflector Halogen or the Reflector LED, chances are you wish you could see better at night. The Morimoto Gen 2 LF523 is the answer. These headlights have been upgraded from the original version that was launched last year. They're brighter, and any little problem they had from last year has been fixed. And the light output difference between what you have now and what these things can produce is going to blow your mind. Get ready to completely change the nighttime driving experience of your Ram. If your 19 Plus Ram 1500 has the premium package with the projector LED headlights, don't even bother trying to put these on your truck because they're a completely different shape. These only physically fit on your truck if you have the halogen reflector headlight and the LED reflector headlight. But if you do have either of those headlights, you're in luck. Not only do these give you a more aggressive and arguably cooler style that mimics the 2500 HD headlight look, they're also way brighter. The first thing you're going to notice is that humongous projector on the outboard side. That's actually a built-in LED projector. There's no bulbs. These are completely maintenance-free with a 5-year warranty, and they are DOT compliant. But that huge projector is what creates both your low beam and your high beam. And right next to it, you have that quad DRL system that looks just like the factory headlight from the 2500 HD premium model. Now on the bottom you have a white strip that acts as your daytime running light. So this is going to be super bright when you're driving around the city during the day with your headlights off, and then your center DRL is also going to turn on with that strip. So you're going to get all of that going at the same time. But then when you turn the headlights on, both of your DRLs are going to dim down to 50% like they should for DOT compliance. Now along the top row you have another strip with an integrated amber LED. That's going to be your turn signal. Unlike your stock headlights that had that glowing amber incandescent light bulb, this has it all built in. In fact, everything on this headlight is LED integrated into the headlight. There's no bulbs to swap out. They're completely maintenance free. You never have to replace a light bulb on this headlight. They're designed to last longer than the life of your truck. Sure, these headlights look cool, but what's really important is the beam pattern. The way that we compare how much better the new beam pattern is to what you have on your truck now is we look at the beam pattern and brightness. We can measure brightness with a digital Lux meter on the old headlight and the new one, and that tells us how much brighter it is. So this is what your stock low beam looks like. It's not very bright at all, and it only comes in at 230 maximum lux. Lux is the actual measurable brightness at a point in space. It's a lot better measurement than lumens for something like this. Now we can compare that to the new Morimoto XB LED Low Beam. This thing comes in at 1,270 maximum lux. That is a huge increase in brightness, 452% brighter. This is like having 5 of your old headlights running at the same time. This is insanely bright. Now let's go back to your stock headlights and turn on the high beam. Here you can see it jumped up to 680 maximum lux with a much taller beam pattern, but watch what happens when we turn the LED headlights on high. 1,310 maximum lux. That's 92% brighter than what comes on your truck right now. The beam pattern is wider, the color is more modern and desirable, and the brightness is insane. Now when it comes to aftermarket headlights for any vehicle, you really should be concerned and make sure that you're getting the right thing, because the majority of aftermarket headlights are actually cheaper and less bright than stock. That's not the case with the Morimoto XB LF523. These things are built to be as good or better build material quality than your stock headlights directly from Ram, and they're way brighter. In fact, even the lens is designed to be better than the stock lens on your truck, using hardened UV-resistant polycarbonate, and the backside of the housing retains all the same factory mounting points and adjusters that your stock headlights use. So not only are they not a downgrade, in every aspect, these are better than what you have now. If I turn the headlight around, you can actually see all the different mounting points. You have the flexible bracket that hooks onto the top of your truck. You have all of the keyways and tabs and screw locations that your factory headlight uses to mount to your Ram, and same on the bottom. Everything is built to the exact spec of your factory headlights to make install super easy. When it comes to the wiring, it might look daunting at first glance, but trust me, it's the exact same wiring setup as your original headlights. It looks like this because depending on if you have the halogen reflector headlight or the LED reflector headlight, you use a different set of wiring. Right now, it's set up to be used on the base model halogen reflector headlight. As you can see, this pigtail that comes off has your main multi-pin connector for your turn signals, low beam and high beam. It has your 2-wire connector for your incandescent side marker light, and then it has a single blue wire connector for your DRL harness. In order for that super bright white DRL on the front side of the headlight to work, if you have the halogen base model headlights, you need to wire this blue single connector up to your fuse box using the included DRL harness. That harness looks like this, and as you can see, it has one fuse tap on one side and 2 single connectors on the other. This is designed to make the DRL wire install completely plug and play. The connector side of the DRL harness plugs in there, and then you run the cable to your fuse box and tap in. In just a minute during the install, we're going to show you how to do that. Now, if you have the LED reflector headlight, it's a little bit different, but both of them share the same turn signal selector. Whether you have the halogen headlight truck or the LED reflector headlight truck, both of them can use the standard on-off blink turn signal or the scrolling sequential LED turn signal. To choose, you simply plug in or unplug this 1-wire harness. So if you have the LED reflector headlight from Ram, you're going to simply remove this adapter harness. This whole thing is only needed if you have the halogen reflector headlights. If you have the LED reflector headlight truck, all you need is this connector. Everything from the daytime running light harness, the turn signal, the low beam and high beam, the parking light, it all comes through this connector. There's nothing else to connect if you have the OEM LED reflector headlight that came on your truck from the factory.
Hey, Ty here. Let's go ahead and get this hood open. So now that we have the hood popped, the first step is to remove these 12 push pins so we can remove this plastic trim. So now that the tabs are removed, we're going to go ahead and remove this radiator cover. First thing you have to do is pull up, push back, and remove the 2 corners seen here and here. And now you just take this off and set it to the side. So next we're going to remove the top part of the grill. You need to remove 2 more push pins and 8 10mm bolts. For the middle 4, you want to make sure to hold the clip down as you're actually unscrewing. And with the push pin and bolts removed, we're going to go ahead and pull this straight out and set it to the side. Next up, we're removing this plastic piece underneath the headlight. First thing we'll do is remove the 4 8mm bolts under the fender lining. So you want to go ahead and pull the liner down by pushing out these tabs a little bit on both sides. So we're pulling the fender down to gain access to this particular 10mm bolt located between these 2 fender pieces. It's a lot easier to do than see. So you'll want to make sure you don't break the clips located under this fender piece here. There'll be a small little lip on the back of the inside you want to pull down so that you can pull the fender piece out. So when it's removed, I'm actually referring to this lip right here. You're pulling down on this lip here to remove this trim and not break any of the clips. So just be mindful that when pulling this away, there may be 2 clips on the far left that may be stuck and have to be manually removed. Next up, we're going to be removing the grill. There are 3 bolts on each side of the grill and 4 on top. Next up, we'll want to pry the tabs on both sides of the grill. Then pull the grill backwards to remove it. Next up, we have a push pin and a bolt on top and another bolt on the side. This last screw is actually holding the headlight in, so having a firm grasp on the headlight is probably required. Next, you'll want to pull it out and reach around the engine bay to pull out the connector with the bottom tab. And you'll do the same for the second clip on the far right of the headlight. Again, grabbing the bottom clip on the connector and pinching. All right guys, now we're going to remove this bottom panel to place on the XB. We're going to use a T25 Torx to remove 5 screws from the bottom and sides of the panel. Now we'll pull up the bracket. So we'll go ahead and flip around the headlight and start to disassemble the top bracket as well using a T20 Torx. So before we install the XB Hybrid, we're gonna have to run the DRL harness. We're gonna go ahead and take off the lid here and remove the 10 fuse from slot 38. And I'll replace the fuse side of the DRL harness into the fuse box itself. So next we'll fish the short side of the harness to the nearest headlight. Then you'll run the longer side along this back harness to the other headlight. All right guys, we're on the final step. Let's go ahead and grab your headlight and let's start plugging in the connections. We're gonna go ahead and plug in the main plug first, then the DRLs, and finally the side marker.
If you still have questions about whether or not these are the right headlight for you, if they'll fit your truck, we have a team of lighting experts standing by. Also, go to headlightrevolution.com, put in your year, make, and model, and you're going to see all of the lighting upgrades you can do to your 19 and up Ram 1500. There's headlights, fog lights, tail lights, off-road lighting, and more.